So let's talk about some of the current landscape that drives why this is a topic that needs to be discussed today. One is, as we probably all know, rapid and disruptive changes in technology and in the marketplace itself is driving the need for extensive digital transformations and enterprise transformation efforts in today's organizations. The ever-increasing pace of these changes and the environmental turbulence it causes, is creating great strain, in many cases unsustainable strain for organizations today. And many large digital transformations today continue to fail. And industry experts like the Gartner Group say that it is largely due to avoidable causes, that things that we could do differently to help mitigate that and to help drive more success. And one of those things is that recommends by the analysts, in particular Gartner, that executive leaders need to form a separate transformation program office to align and orchestrate the execution of this program across the multiple work streams that have to happen, many of them, and the digital information silos that exist within the organizations. This in and of itself will help to ensure better success for digital transformation programs themselves. Why are we doing this in the first place? Yes, there is change, but what do digital transformation programs bring to us? Well, one, it's competitive advantage. We don't want to get caught asleep at the wheel. Organizations must innovate. They must move forward or die. And digital transformation enables companies to leverage technology to create a number of things: new products, new services, new business models, new ways to access their customers, giving them a competitive edge over their traditional competitors, and even help stave off new market entrants as this digital age occurs and market entry becomes easier. Improved efficiency and productivity. If we can use digital technologies and automate processes that are currently manual and personality independent, and streamline our workflows and eliminate inefficiencies and those types of things, we can realize productivity and cost savings and competitive edge once again. We can do things faster, we can respond things more quickly and achieve better results quicker. And then there's that enhanced customer experience, that we are in the age of the customer. The customer rules, and companies can better understand and engage with their customers, through things like better data analytics, more personalized marketing and communication, and tailoring experiences for different audiences will help drive loyalty and help drive acquisition of customers through that process as well. And then there's business agility. This digital age is really bringing about more agile approaches to doing things. And we want to do this because we want to respond quickly. We want to respond to changing market dynamics and customer demands and competitive pressures. And adopting not only the methodologies, but the appropriate tools to make that happen in technologies, we can adapt our strategies, our products, our operations more quickly. And the goal here is to remain, definitely competitive advantaged, but just even remain relevant and resilient so that we are still leaders when this thing, when the dust settles. And then data-driven decision-making becoming paramount in organizations. And these types of transformations provide access to vast amount of data and also new ways to analyze that data so we can get insights into customer behavior and market trends and other business performance so that we can make more informed decisions. And we want to be able to identify opportunities and identify risks and mitigate them while we still have a chance to have an impact, basically becoming more effective. And then now we're getting down to some of the things here that we're going to talk about today as well. These digital transformation programs start to foster a culture of innovation within organizations. We start having to, because of necessity, and we encourage experimentation, creativity, and continuous improvement. We're constantly trying to move the ball forward and not stagnate. Companies can unlock new revenue streams, enter new markets, and drive sustainable growth here. So basically, we can grow through this as well. And just operational resilience, by diversifying our revenue streams and reducing dependency on some manual processes and strengthening our cybersecurity measures, we can ensure continuity can survive threats and disruptions on a number of different fronts as we go through them and better insulate us from those types of things. So just some things, this is not by any means exhaustive, but some of the more high-profile impacts of digital transformation. So then, if we're going to institute a transformation program office, and many of you on this today may already be part of one, but the Gartner Group defines a program office in and of itself as a temporary organization, an entity linked to a specific program. Now, while a transformation program is lengthy and far-reaching and goes into many different parts of an organization, it does have a specific effort in mind that's temporary. It's not ongoing, not to be meant forever. And unlike the PMO and unlike EPMO and PMO functions, this program office would exist to provide support, enablement services, and work products to the program executive sponsor, the program manager, and other program management and staff. The idea is to deliver on those types of things. And these program offices and the program managers within them must deal with the big picture transformation and focus on the most important part of this program, getting success and results. That is their focus, how to drive that. And this program manager focuses on critical transformation activities like managing the evolving transformation goals, communicating frequently with stakeholders and other relevant folks in the organization, and also mitigating risk proactively as they get on our radar. Now, transformation programs typically have numerous operational and technical areas that require coordination. These are far-reaching. They go horizontally all the way across the organization. And the program office centralizes the management of these key functions to engage and enable communication between the various projects and work streams and people involved in those things within the program. But it also ensures that the span of control that they're leveraging there is only the objective of the transformation, and not trying to duplicate or do things that the PMO is chartered to do within the organization. So if the Gartner Group, the way they depict this is that the program office really brings these puzzle pieces together. You know, we have a digital strategy on the outside. We have digital capabilities that we desire to get to have, and then we drive to the outcomes that we want there. But the puzzle pieces is bringing together the digital transformation effort itself, the overall program management across the different work streams and components of that, and then aligning operationally throughout in order to make this come together in a way that we want at the end of the day. And this program office has a number of different, functional things it needs to do. There's the governance and management of it. There's the resource and the environment itself. Because we're putting new technologies in place and partnering with different vendors, vendor management and procurement becomes important as we transition to different products and services. Quality, risk, and control, planning and communication, these are all things that have to happen in order to successfully drive the outcomes the way we want. And if we take this another layer down the onion, there is the different things that they do in here, in governance, and in resource and environment, as far as resource capacity planning and methods, and making sure that we get the right resources in the right places. And over on the planning and communication side of things, just make sure we have integrated planning across the entire strategic planning framework. Are we going to meet the strategy, and do we have a good plan to tackle all of that and deliver on all fronts? And basically manage the change across all that and be able to track progress and benefits and redirect as needed in order to succeed. Now, this program office, is designed to align with the activities of the PMO, but it's really just a subset of what the PMO has its eyes on in its charter across all different types of projects and programs within an organization. And it really makes sure that it meets the needs of the whole transformation program and keeps the eye on the ball and makes sure that all the components are being addressed, and also that all the different participants in this thing are aligned with one another. So what are some common challenges that face the transformation program office? Well, resistance to change. Human nature, makes that a component of any major effort or of transformation within an organization. And it requires an effective change management strategy. We clearly communicate and have stakeholder engagement. Our job is to foster buy-in and support for the transformation initiative, because it's so critical to the future of our companies and our organizations. The technology pieces, many of us have legacy systems and infrastructure that maybe run counter or maybe are barriers to us reaching that digitally transformed state that we're looking for. And we have to figure out ways and actually to overcome that technical debt and bring in the new wave. The skills and the talent gap. As we go into new technologies and digitally transform, we may have a gap or a shortage of the skills that we need in order to succeed to move this transformation forward and then maintain it and grow it as it goes through. And the resource constraints themselves. We are, in many organizations, running very lean today, and we have to prioritize our investments. We have to allocate resources strategically to things like transformation and be able to demonstrate a return on investment and value delivered so that we can continue to get support from senior leadership and stakeholders and make sure that we're putting people on the right things and focusing on the right things. Cybersecurity risk, as we get more digitally transformed, we are more data cloud driven, and cybersecurity measures become even more paramount, and organizations are becoming more stringent in making sure that we have these protocols in place. And then just the data management and governance, as you deal with things like GDPR and other data and compliance types of things that we have out there, we have to face those challenges and make sure that we are up to par, that we meet the standards, and that we can deliver within the context of those regulatory constraints that might be in place. Now, from a solution perspective that we're going to talk about today, organization silos and collaboration. The lack of collaboration between departments and the lack of communication and alignment there can hinder the integration and alignment of a digital transformation effort. If we all have different perceptions and we're all acting in a fragmented way, it's tough to come to the end of the line together in a cohesive and synergistic way. And just how do we measure? The measuring success and the ROI of a transformation effort. We have to be able to establish clear metrics and KPIs and benchmarks so we can track performance, we can evaluate the outcomes, and demonstrate the impact of digital transformation on business performance to keep the engagement and the support both financially and culturally in place there. So these are things that we can help with some of the things we're going to talk about here today. Ultimately, that piece about organization and information silos, it breeds nothing but increased costs, inefficiencies, and lack of alignment. And poor alignment and collaboration between participating functional areas can be fatal. Let alone the fact that I know many transformation efforts that are still being managed on spreadsheets in different areas, and manual mashups of that data, if we can even do that, is very labor intensive and costly. Manual report creation from that mashup is hard. We end up potentially duplicating efforts, maybe doing similar things in different parts of the organization redundantly, or maybe even the duplication of data entry for the same thing. It's consuming consuming resources in a wasteful way, and it's prone to errors as we transcribe data into multiple places. And it's just difficult to remain accurate and current across the board. So the idea is we want to avoid this. We want to provide a single pane of glass if we can to all this and get everybody rowing in the same direction. Now, if we line strategy with execution, this is where strategic portfolio management practices can come into play to help the transformation program office. By sharing objectives of the business strategist, the one who had set the overall course, and those executing the change and making sure that they're on the same page is the first step in making that happen. And the Gartner Group says, aligning this in strategic portfolio management and strategic execution involves people, strategy, and operations. We got to get them all working together. And that it's the system of the development and planning of organizational alignment, operational plans that help execute on that, monitoring and learning, as we go and adapting based on the things that we find or the things that we face. And it's the basis for increase of value by executing that strategy well and delivering the value that we intend to. So strategic portfolio management, or SPM, as Gartner defines it, has a number of different capabilities. And as you look at here, it's more than just the strategy and the project. It's really about different software and features and capabilities that you need, the products that we need, and the other digital and other assets in the organization, or even the business capabilities that we have to enhance or modernize. And leadership requires strategic portfolio management here to support that enterprise-wide strategy to execution, alignment, and adaptation, which is so important in digital transformation programs. Now, the definition of these strategies and the desired outcomes is going to factor in many more things than we did before. Now, they have always impacted, but sometimes we haven't had the clear visibility to see how they relate and what risks we have because of their progress or lack thereof. And things like business capabilities that need to be modified, digital and physical products that are required in order to execute this new digital strategy, applications that may no longer be valid or need to be modernized or need to be replaced, and the myriad of projects and the work streams that need to be accomplished in order to bring that all together. Now, we capture and define and prioritize the business strategies overall, right, of which the digital transformation is part of that. And then we have the execution of the initiatives and the programs and the projects that drive the achievement of those strategies. And then we have to have an eye or full visibility into the management of the core functional assets within the organization that we are dependent on for success. So all these different components of leadership, IT and functional management, and the execution teams all have to be working in a cohesive fashion for this to be pulled off. Now, the shift towards SPM and organizational agility because of the rapid pace of change, just in recent surveys by the Gartner Group, only 16% of organizations are highly effective at all three attributes of strategic portfolio management, which is portfolio alignment, ongoing portfolio flexibility, and value-driven decision-making. That says we have a lot of room for growth as organizations, because if we can get better at those things, we have a higher chance of success. That fragmented approach that we talked about can lead to misaligned goals and all those things that we talked about, redundant processes and excessive costs. So basically, the other piece of this is if digital transformation is strategic, it is so common for resources and departments and organizations to get pulled away into the day-to-day operational needs and crises that happen, and then it unintentionally pulls them away from strategic objectives, which means we defer and push those things farther down the line or not give them the attention they deserve. We need a way to provide that focus and allocate that time as needed. Now, some projections or assumptions that are out there by the analysts like Gartner is that by 2025, 70% of digital investments will fail to deliver an expected business outcome due to the absence of strategic portfolio management approaches, meaning the things we're going to talk about today are needed. And that by 2024, we're here, 80% of digital businesses will integrate SPM and execution technologies to adopt new frameworks. And we are finding that many, many more customers are adopting at least portions of this. Now, OnePlan provides a path to strategic portfolio management to help these digital transformation exercises. The business leaders have OKRs and value streams that they can leverage to set the course. The execution leaders have a variety of tools to execute with, whether they be using more adaptive approaches or agile approaches or professional services associated with that, or even product or application management. And then there's the functional leaders that own the assets that give us the ability to factor into our decision making and to our execution the enterprise architecture, business architecture, application portfolios, product portfolios of all those things that interrelate to what we want to do. And you don't have to bite all this off at once. Just getting started and having a roadmap to get where you want and mature in these areas is sufficient. And OnePlan provides you a vehicle for doing that and tackle the things you want now and add the things later on that you want, or to leverage the things that you want. For example, in OnePlan, that whole upfront part, the establishing of a strategy by your leadership or your program leadership on a strategy of what you want to accomplish, the OKRs, the enterprise architecture, the elements that are going to be fundamental to the success that we need to capture. And then the ideation and the requests that come in that should be spawned off of the strategy that you set and the enterprise architecture realities that you have and the infrastructure that you have, to be able to then select the right things to work in a portfolio. And that portfolio could be a program within the portfolio that the transformation program office is actually working with. And we can do more agile approaches and boards, and we can do more roadmap views of how we're going to deliver these things. And ultimately, it's going to come down to, as we said, resource capacity and resource capacity planning. Do we have the resources to do it in the first place? And do we have them focused on the right things to succeed? There's always the financial and budget aspects that has to be planned and tracked in that, as well as we talked about, adjusting quickly to changing conditions. Having a good, robust what-if scenario modeling capability is important to be able to evaluate alternatives while we're figuring out what to do next. Now, the execution piece, that comes into the practitioners who are going to execute in all these different functional areas within the program. To be able to have more waterfall work plans and agile plans, OnePlan provides that for you right within the tool itself. Though, if you are committed to both from an investment in the planning data and all the other stuff and other tools, we do have connectors to the most common project planning and management tools that are out there today with our OneConnect technology within OnePlan. And we can even manage all those things like issues and risks and changes right within one place, so you're not fragmented and going to different places for those. The resource capacity planning or the resource planning and the resource negotiation that happens within individual projects, that all feeds up to that overall resource capacity plan that we talked about earlier on. And even getting team members good access in a singular place to provide updates, no matter how many work streams they're on within the program, to be able to report progress and or time if you need that, is available to you within the solution. And then obviously reporting, where would we be without that, right? Individual status reporting at program level and project level status reports, dashboards for the overall portfolio or program or down to the individual components of those. Visualizations and how all this stuff interrelates, how our projects and programs interrelate with strategies and enterprise architecture elements, et cetera. We'll show that to you today. Ultimately, it's about delivering and delivering value and delivering what we intend to deliver. And so, we added Sophia GPT, which is our purpose-driven artificial intelligence assistance to help us get better at that. But ultimately, through the selection, we want to do the right things. And then through the execution pieces, we want to do it well and make sure that we do what we select in the best way possible. And this is true across all parts of the organization. Now, today we're focusing on innovation and transformation type of efforts, but those programs themselves tap all these other departments in one way or another in most cases, where they have to bring these different entities together to sing from the same songbook and be able to deliver in a way that meets the need and achieves the strategy for digital transformation within the organization. So Sophia, our OnePlan assistant, is really something that's purpose-built for strategic portfolio management. It gives us AI-driven collaboration. It is based on Azure OpenAI security and compliance in the Microsoft Cloud, which provides the additional compliance in that you may not get with ChatGPT, for example. And it gives you intuitive interaction with prompt-based, language-based queries that you can make, and gives you good data interaction and analysis and things for data entry and information retrieval and a variety of things that we're going to show you here today. And it's available as part of the core product of OnePlan. It's always available to you while you're in OnePlan, and you can ask it for assistance wherever you are in the solution. It not only leverages its general knowledge base from OpenAI, but it also leverages the learnings of strategic portfolio management of the OnePlan capabilities, and will actually factor in the data on your screen to get the analysis and the answers you're looking for in the context of what you are trying to achieve. So basically, it's available to you at any given point in time. And where we're at, where you see over here on the, where it says now in the bottom, that's where we're at today. We're an AI-based assistant that basically allows us to do language prompts in there to have it do what we want. But we are already working on that next wave of the future, which is the more autonomous mode for SPM, where it can anticipate and do things for us even before we ask in the areas that we want it to do. So once again, it's exciting as far as where this can go for strategic portfolio management and the program management of transformation programs. So incorporate this. Does it change what we do with strategic portfolio management overall? Not really. What it does is it enhances and helps us do better things and do it more efficiently, and maybe free us up for more high-value activities. For example, adapting the portfolio to market changes. It can help us streamline the portfolio intake and prioritization process and analysis of that. So we do have to build next generation talent like we talked about. So AI will help us find out where we need to do that, or help us train people on how to better leverage AI to become that next generation talent. And embracing disruptive technologies. I don't know if there's anything more disruptive right now than AI. But as we do digital transformation within our organizations, we will be incorporating into our organizations technologies that we've never had before, or responding to technologies that have been put upon us in the marketplace. And AI is going to help us to navigate through all that. Now, strategic portfolio management, sample use cases in AI, here's some that we support today. This is by no means exhaustive, but strategic planning, portfolio optimization, work management and scheduling, assessing risk, allocating resources and seeing what we need from a resource capacity perspective, and even analyzing the finances and investment forecasting. So for example, before I even get into the demo, let's take a look at how you might be planning out a digital transformation program in OnePlan. And based on just some limited information that we've put in there, and Sophia's knowledge of what a digital transformation program is, we can actually ask it a question in here. Like, let's say, can you create a business case for me? So we can ask from within here as we're building this, and we want some business case information. Give me a business case for a digital transformation program. And in this particular case, it will start providing me the components of a good business case, the executive summary of what a digital transformation is. It's actually leveraging data from the plan that we have in place itself, as far as the budget, the forecasted ROI, the dates that we look to accomplish these certain things, the background and the problem statement, etc. The idea here is it's giving us a quicker way to get this here, and by all means, with our own human interaction, we can augment what's here, but we're not starting from scratch when we build these things. There is the aspect of, we talked about, having reliable metrics and KPIs. Well, what if we asked it as we build this, what are some viable OKRs that we might want to put in place for a digital transformation program? In this particular case, we'll ask it that very question. And the objectives and key results, I've asked for 5 top ones. And here it's giving me an objective of enhance the digital experience for customers and employees, and it gives me key results within it about improving the website experience, achieving higher satisfaction rates, implement robotic process automation, etc., as some of the things that we'd want to do as far as OKRs.